Hey, we're all here. So, Sai, you want to begin the wrap up for me?
Definitely, and it's been definitely a journey already. Number one, thank you all for joining across the
Yeah.
day, and especially the close here as we've come through. Um, what I'd like to do is, if you don't mind, I'd like to just sort of get just sort of quick responses from the track leads relative to highlights, and by all means, Ted and Scott and Barry relative to highlights, but kind of sort of quickly, and then we can move toward next steps and closing out with some final comments, but just highlights in general.
Can I start?
Please, by all means.
Yeah, by all means.
I'm blown away. This was I didn't know what to expect, and the kinds of things that I get excited about. One of them is self-reference, and when we talk about doing things differently in a forum that does things differently, I think that's kind of a neat idea. But I took about 20 pages of notes, and some of the things just hit me in the face, and so I'm probably a little bruised. So I'd just like to repeat a few of the things that I heard today, and I'm going to go back and look at all the other things that I missed, and I'm sure there's as many there. But I heard that feedback is for machines and humans need feed forward. I think that's a neat thing to think about, and we need to make friends with uncertainty and embrace the beginner's mindset. Just a neat thought. Responsive organizations are learning organizations and ones that respond to that learning. And a lot of us, have learning organizations, but they don't respond to the learning. And we might think about in being resilient, we might think about changing from owning to getting access to. What a neat thought that is. And then Stefan, I wish I have a whole page of stuff from Stefan, and great stuff. Even a monkey can exercise authority. We've lost the art of leadership. So great learnings. My head is exploding, and I just I'm going to need a long time to digest all of this. And finally, I'd like to thank Michelle for giving me another thing to think about in terms of what the CEO Roundtable does. We get in a room and help one another identify that gray rhino, and hit one another upside the head when we don't see it coming. So thank you again, Sai, and thank you, Ted and Barry, for putting all of this together. It is absolutely mind-blowing.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. How about other folks? Please.
Yeah, this is Barry. So what an experience. It's one thing to put it together. It's another thing to experience it. And I, like Scott and others, I'm not sure blown away is the right word, but the two things that I got out of this on a high level is you got to have new ways of being and new ways of thinking. And so therefore, this is the beginning of the next piece. Some specific little clips that I got along the way today in different sessions was the concept of a weak signal detector, listening to the little weak signals and how they impact us. This was an amazing one I've heard many times today. Don't waste a good crisis. In other words, there's something possible and good in this, in the middle of all this pandemic and this challenge. Be human, be authentic. As somebody said today, and maybe it was Stefan, I don't know, that, the whole thing about command and control and being, that whole thing, there is a place for that, but I think people are craving in the world for this humanity side. And then along those lines is we need to care. I feel choked up on this about each and every person we work with and serve. That's so important. And then the one that I got, and I really didn't know this going in, is the true value of transcending. Transcending, you have different ways of thinking of it, but it's going from where we are to the next place. You're embracing and going across the chasm. So this transcending and taking in what's not working and the difficulty and the challenge is where the magic is. And then the real question at the end is, okay, so we just spent 6 hours. It's fantastic. We got a lot of knowledge. So what's the key focus action that we're each going to move forward with? Because without action, it's sort of like, it's a great conversation. It's a great book. It's a great video. But unless people do things, which, my my sense is with the pandemic and the racism and all these things, those are just like the symptoms, right? It's doing something, it'd be a change, underneath. So it's been my pleasure to be here today, and those are some of the thoughts I have. Back to you, Si.
How about the Ted and the track leads, please? And we don't have Denise. Where's Denise?
She's not here at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, please chime in, Ted and Cyprian, Mark, and Miguel.
At the moment. Yeah, I mean, I just like.
Perhaps Mark?
We can't hear you, Ted.
I think we're going to have Ted. Ted, you want to get a little closer to Mike?
Let him go first.
No, you're good. You're good. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going to say, I felt like I was in about 3 hours worth of sessions, and I felt like it was very good in terms of communication and just kind of explaining the power of listening and the power of connection, and the power of just like what good leadership can do in these moments. Like, I think sometimes we think that in more chaotic moments we get through on like financial metrics or margins or product development, and that all matters, but I think moments like this are human in nature. That was kind of the theme that was put together when this whole thing started. Transcending the crisis and COVID were human issues, not necessarily tech issues, platform issues, fiscal issues. Those all matter, but they're not the essence of it. So I felt the conversations are very good around that. And obviously, there will be a recording afterwards, and we'll send that out and everything. So I hope people got value from it. Once again, people like Cy, Barry, Scott, Kelly, CEO Roundtable, MicroStrat people, Godspeed in terms of helping us out with coordination or back end. It was obviously very helpful. So those are some of my overall thoughts.
Excellent. And don't forget that fine gentleman that we all know as Ted.
Yeah.
Please, Miguel, Cyprian, Mark.
Yeah, if I may, I would just simply add something related back to the basics, basically. We are in a world where hyperconnectivity is around us everywhere. And I think today we just realized, I've seen the comment, the power of connection. But that connecting people is more important than being connected to the world through a screen where you read information provided by someone you don't know. I mean, listening from other people is richer. Mm-hmm. And we had this event today globally using the technology as a tool, but like a tool. Technology is not the purpose. And I think we have to put the human first in the center again. It has been said in many different conversations from the technology-enabled track. I suppose from the others, I wasn't listening at the same time. But I think this is really a key to take into consideration. The other element, and I go quicker for that, is about the perception that we have from a situation, from a context, from a risk, and by exchanging the different vantage points that we have as a community, we might get a better idea of what the real situation is, or a better idea of the real. I don't say a better idea of the normal, like the motto says, yeah, this way. Not the normal, just the situation, the system, the context. So by exchanging, by having those connections, we can have a better perception about what we have to do and eliminate fear of the decision. That's it.
Thank you so much, Miguel. How about Cyprian or Mark?
For me, it was a big learning this hours together. I learned how technology could become human, how human technology could become, especially because of the crisis. The pressure put by the crisis could accelerate some processes that thinkers and practitioners are already put in places. For example, trusting technology, like says Graham Binks, or making software architecture more anti-fragile, like Barry O'Reilly does in his practice, or using elements from the real-life architecture to put human in the center, like Roderick does, or also using wisdom on the process on the project management by like simplicity, like Igor Broz presented us. Big learning. Thank you for the journey.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Mark. Please.
I'll give you 4 words because we'll keep it nice and short because we're near the end. The whole thing was summarized for me in transcending 3 things: expertise, labels, leaders. Thank you all.
Very well said. Very well said. Very, very well said. Denise, please.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, everyone. It was really just an incredible learning experience. I think for me, it was really just everyone's openness to really share, and it was an environment where people could really explore, and that the conversations, kind of going back to how Sai had opened it about Judith, and that just the beauty of the conversation itself. I think everyone took something away from those conversations. Something resonated with everyone, and I think to me, basically that was the journey, was just to really listen to those conversations and the beauty that everyone brought to it.
Thank you so much, Denise. Anything else before I kind of just do just a little bit of final wrap up, folks? All good?
I think you're the wrap up kind of guy today. Go for it.
Kelly, you're with us. Kelly, Colleen, Avery, please. Anything?
Hi, Sai, Kelly. So I did write 2 things down. I think one came from Maria and the other one came from Rhonda. And that was to embrace being perfectly imperfect, and that words create worlds. Those were the 2 things that I'm really going to have to sit on this weekend for sure. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Avery's not with us, or Colleen at this point?
No, they're not.
Okay. So just thank you so much. I'll kind of just wrap up with a few sort of things that are key. The word transcend was extremely intentional. We all very, very specific about that. The other thing is when we talk about labels and what have you, exactly as Sunil and Mark mentioned, and some of the things that Stefan mentioned specifically, the absence of these things creates the opportunity for us to transcend. So when we say the absence of a normal is really transcending, it's another word for transcending the whole notion of a normal, of a specific label, of a specific expertise, exactly as Mark called out. So we've gotten a lot of questions, and I want to make sure at least I say something around it, because I have gotten the question repeatedly, and likewise I've shared it, of course, with the group. What is next? Where is this going? What's happening? Definitely things will continue to unfold together. This is very much a co-creation, as we've said. Everything that you have heard, respectfully, anyone that hears any of the recordings, everything that we have been talking about very explicitly does focus on actionable perspectives, insights, and likewise guidance and practical impact. So literally, I want to be respectfully very blunt. If Mark gets a call tomorrow, if Cyprian or Miguel or Denise or Barry or Ted or Scott, we can begin to put these things into practice if we're not practicing them already. And if anyone here disagrees with me, please say something. No disagreement. We could put, yes, there you go. There you go. And we've already done that. We've already done pieces of that. We've experienced these things. So these are learnings that we're sharing all together and learning continuously. So I want to be very, very specific about that. Again, I mentioned around the normality aspect, the transcending aspect. Just a few more things, if you will, in closing. Gratitude to everyone, to absolutely everyone. The guests that shared their wisdom with us, very specifically the panel hosts, the track hosts, all around the lightning conversations. Nothing can be discounted. Truly an experience that we co-created together. All the supporters that are identified, it's a long list of supporters. Definitively this group, very specifically Maria, Michelle, completely overwhelmed, and by all means all the participants. So thank you all for joining and co-creating this experience together. The Transcending the Crisis virtual conference couldn't have been without you. Hope you and yours stay well, safe, and by all means healthy. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Sai.
Thank you, Sai.
Thank you, Sai.
Yes, I.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Si.